Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Today, one from the Break the Blank Page, What Comes Next series. So this page was broken by using the salt technique. And here are the pages that I did with that technique. Here's the finished page that's already done, and I'll put a link to this video as well as the original video. So I want to add some interest to this background. Love the color, love the effect the salt technique has given, but I need to add some contrast. So I'm going to add some black and some white. So first I'm spreading out black acrylic paint on my palette, and I'm going to do some stamping with acrylic paint. This is the Heart and Club and Company stamp that I just got from Ninny's Napkins. And I absolutely love it. I don't care that you really can't tell that it is clubs and hearts. I love the dimension, the size of it. This one is from CiaoBella. It says "Breathe, Darling," and it's a very fine stamp. This is the first time I'm putting paint on these stamps. Now I'm just kind of grunging up the background. It's really fine. It kind of gets lost with the texture and the pattern from the salt technique. So you don't see a whole lot of it, but every bit adds to it. Now I needed to add something else, so I grabbed my words stamp from Stamperia, and I'm adding a few letters across the page, and that is just the right thing. As always, when you've used your stamps with acrylic paint, you're going to want to spray it with your Murphy's oil soap and clean them right away. Now I put clear or white gesso through this Jungle Vines stencil with a makeup, and I applied with a makeup sponge. I didn't want to get it very opaque. I wanted that frosty look, and I am loving it. This background is just killer, and I will have to remember this again. The texture that's there from the salt technique and the patterning, everything just works so well together. Another new to me stencil or stamp from Ninny's Napkins is this Darkroom Door Spread Your Wings set. And I'm going to use the butterfly stamp, and I'm going to stamp with acrylic paint, but this time I'm going to apply it using my gel plate and brayer. I'm just spreading black acrylic paint on the gel plate, getting a good coat on my brayer, and then I'm going to spread it onto the butterfly that I've placed on an acrylic block. This gives you a nice, consistent coat. And I'm just testing this out on white paper before I use it on my gel print. OMG, I love the size of that butterfly, and the bold black dots are going to really show well. So now that I know that this works the way I think it's going to work, I'm going to stamp on my gel print. Now, if you don't have a gel print that has the right color, I'm matching it to the pink that was on the page. You can take some time out and paint a page, but add some other colors in there. Don't let it be so flat. Now, since I have the stamps out and the brayer out and everything's dirty, I decided I'm just going to fill this page with butterflies. At this point, I'm thinking I'm just using that one big butterfly, but as always, I take advantage of having stuff out, and I will stamp more than I need or plan on using, and then that gets added to my stash. I'm so thrilled with this purchase, and I know I'm going to use this butterfly set often. Now, because I had cut out so many of these, I had layered them up after I had cut them in front of the TV, and I thought, oh, I could make this 3D. So I'm just cutting off the antenna on the two smaller ones, and I'm going to layer them up, and just those top two I'm going to glue down just in the middles, so it looks like this butterfly has dimension. Now I played around with my soon-to-be upcoming sentiment pack, Wings and Things. Then that will be sold at Ninny's Napkins as a digital download. And I printed off this one that says, "Just Wing It." And I'm bubble cut around it to remove a lot of the white. And then I play around for, I'm embarrassed to say how long, with the orientation of the letters. And I decided that this size was a little too small, so I printed it out bigger. And with all my sentiment packs, you have permission to resize them to whatever size you need for your project. And I even have a video that shows you how to do that. So now I'm bubble cutting it, the bigger one, and it just has more presence on the page, and I'm quite a bit happier with it. Now I chose this font because it's bold, and I wanted that contrast. The background is soft and frosty looking, and I wanted something that stood up to it. I also got rid of the excess white by bubble cutting because there is a lot of white in the background. And the little one that I cut out, well, it's going to go in my stash too. I just reorganized my sentiments stash, and I will make a video showing you how I've organized it now. It's working really well. So a little more playing around with where I want to put the sentiment, and I think I'm good to go. I'm going to glue this all down with the TCW gel medium. And I have it in place, and I'm going to pull it up and glue half of it down, and then I'm going to glue the other half down. And I'm putting a good coat of gel medium on the top. Now I want that butterfly, that large one, to dry completely, because remember, I'm going to glue the littler butterflies on so that the wings actually come up. I don't want it to lie flat, so I want that to completely dry. If you don't have gel medium, you can use fluid medium as well, or Mod Podge, or whatever you prefer to use. Here I'm just making sure that it's dry before I glue everything together. Now remember, I cut off the antenna on the smaller two because I'm going to make believe that this is just one butterfly. And I'm folding up the wings and just gluing, putting a little bit of the gel medium in the middle because I want this to be 3D. And I'm thinking this would make a lovely, lovely card or canvas. Now you could paint the undersides pink, the color of the butterfly. You could go blue. I like them white. They're fine for my purposes. Now I'm shading around the edge. I want a little bit more contrast, a little more definition to the edge of the page. So I'm using my shading technique, which is called floating acrylic. And there's a video. If you just type in shading when you're in my channel, it'll come up. And I specifically teach how to do that technique there. And I'm shading around the large butterfly because I want it to really pop off the page. And then I decide I'm going to add some white highlights, and I'm using the same shading technique and just adding a little bit of detail on, a little bit of highlights on those wings. And it just really brings out and makes it look more 3D by that little bit of an addition. I'm absolutely loving how this page ended. You know, when you don't know what to create, just wing it. Go for it. Here I'm splattering with silver paint that I'm thinned with water, and I always use my fan brush for that. It's a very loose fan brush and works really, really well. This gives a little bit of shine and a little bit of extra frostiness. So let's recap. This page started with the salt technique and 2 colors. Remember, there in the iCards, there's a link to that video where I break all the pages. I wanted to add contrast with black and white, so I stamped with acrylic paint with 3 different stamps, and then I stenciled with white gesso. I combined 3 stamps to build a focal image that was 3D. And I stamped that onto gel print with acrylic paint. I added the sentiment to the page, just finding the right size. I shaded and highlighted, and I splattered. Thank you so much. Until next time, go get creative.